Ji Kim explores the many facets of views on the act of revenge, to which side he takes is still nebulous. However, there are two philosophies that remain popular yet controversial outlooks on the issue. The first and most subscribed to being the use of Stoicism. Quote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy," unquote. Marcus Aurelius. A Stoic position has remained the main outlook from society. This is the case of the subscribed moral structure and culture we abide by. The final and most portrayed in media is existentialism. Quote, "There is no such thing as justice, or the best that we can hope for is revenge," unquote. To take measures into your own hands, allowing you to construct your own morals and abandoning what cultures or values were placed on you before. This philosophy has been demonstrated in such films as Sweeney Todd, Death Sentence, and Blue Ruin. A Bittersweet Life is a different approach to the philosophy of revenge. The lonely protagonist already lives amongst contemptible environment and circumstances due to him being a mobster. The revenge being a unique form, as rather than avenging a loved one, he is instead forced into the scenario by pursuing those hunting him, offense as defense, to be brusque. This engendered through the only instance of empathy Sun Woo exhibited to one of his targets, a moment of hesitation before he sent a voice message which entailed the man's death, and deciding to cut the call, an extraordinary flaunt of empathy over apathy. This act of moral diversion leads him to become prey for those in his line of work and causing a myriad of upheaval, thus alluding to the titular name, A Bittersweet Life. The quagmire of his situation is that he is almost coerced into an existential approach, a circumstance which Kim in I Saw the Devil could have circumvented, essentially killing for his life, as sardonic as it sounds. Displaying in both films a situation in which characters are placed and the decisions they take to alleviate their environment. He spends the remainder of the film journeying around stocking up on weapon supplies for the big finale, picking off reprobates along the way who have or attempted to attack or reprove him. How necessary the bloodshed proliferates is something which lays in the conscience of the protagonist, regardless of the fact that those he kills are sordid and disreputable people. At last he saunters through the tight marble hallways, killing each mobster as he approaches the final room. An inundation of foes await him. As he slowly bleeds out, he ponders life still befuddled, to why the man he slaved to like a dog has disowned him so nonchalantly and ordered his demise. The strange summing up of the ending is that it almost seems like a victory for Sun Woo, as his life harboured no meaning before, but had seemed to acquire an epiphany as he bled out, in contrast to Kim, which almost ended hollowly and was presented as such by the director. Kim only feeling empty inside, only beginning to grieve, but not obtaining an ounce of satisfaction from the decapitation of his family's killer. In I Saw the Devil, a combination of philosophies were explored, the first being existentialism, which is the idea of taking actions into your own hands to put things right. The character of Kim Soo-hyun, whose wife and unborn child are brutally murdered, a litigious path could have been taken, as his occupation is a secret agent, meaning the killer would have immediately and almost definitely have been brought to justice and punished severely. He takes the path of revenge through brutal and barbarous measures by capturing and torturing and setting free the murderer with just an inch of his life remaining. The process is repeated an ineffable amount of times. A truly horrific fate. Kim Soo-hyun becomes carried away. He brutally injures multiple people. They may be immoral and morally disgusting individuals, but should this necessitate their torture? Shouldn't they be dealt with by authority rather than a vigilante? By the succession of the film, the secret agent has finally captured and executed the man who killed his family, doing this in front of the murderer's family. This is when the title I Saw the Devil becomes so pertinent and paramount to the plot of the film. Who is the devil? From the secret secret agent's perspective or the murderer, as they are both possibly as evil and ignoble as each other. This allows the final philosophy to be emphasized, a stoic approach. Kim has lost his identity, morally broken and empty, as he lets out an impotent and fraught cry. His life is now over, void with a multitude of innocent victims killed along the way, which could have been avoided if Kim So-hyun turned the killer in on his first interaction. No other quote summarizes the ending of the film, such as, quote, "Before you embark on a journey of revenge, dig 2 graves," unquote. The act of existentialism is a perilous and self-destroying path. However, no philosophy is advocated but both demonstrated and explored, allowing the viewer to decipher if their consequences outweigh the virtues and if it's worth it. But what does a man have but revenge after such tribulation? Who wouldn't take the law into his own hands if your family was stolen from you by such a black-hearted individual, knowing full well it will be the last decision you will ever make? That's a true and unvarnished moral conundrum.